you can tell me right now, what is the best Ammonite card in the TCG?
The best Ammonite card is clearly
Now, inevitably, that's going to come back.
Kabuto's a meme coin. I hate to say it. Kabuto's a meme coin.
Auctions have been absolutely crazy as of late in the hobby, and today we're going to give you the breakdown on some of the craziest ones that you've missed and some of the craziest ones coming up, some of which are tied to social media rising star Kabuto King, others tied to some of the biggest cards in the hobby, like the Pikachu Illustrator. Welcome to the Off-Center Podcast, your home for perfectly imperfect hobby talk, one off-center take at a time. I'm your host, Squeaks, with my co-hosts, Radar, Thrifty, and Mason. And today, we're going to break all that down, starting with Kabuto King. This was one of Mason's biggest requests that we talk about, so I want to throw it over to him. Let's start with Mason. Mason.
The Kabuto King himself.
King. He's taking it over. He's taking over the hobby. Everyone's in on it. Everyone's getting in on it. We just had a record-breaking Kabuto sale auction. Give us the breakdown. Who is Kabuto King? Why do we care? What's going on? What's going on with this guy?
Look, I just thought it was a cute story. That was a feel-good, had a happy ending to it with all the drama.
Has it had a happy ending? Has it had an ending?
Is my question.
Look, all right, so
to be determined.
As a guy on Instagram, he wanted to collect first edition Kabutos from the fossil.
Bless his heart.
And he's making an Instagram account about his journey of collecting as many as he can. And he's been going for a couple months now, and it's catching a lot of traction. He's got people following him along, and I think in November he started blowing up really big, where he got a bunch of shares on his latest thing, and then he had
11 million shares.
Fnatic shared it, Fnatic, all these big brands were sharing it.
Yeah, and I know Polygon was making articles and stuff about him too. So great, cool. And then he did this auction on eBay. It's a gold sharpied Kabuto with the Kabuto King with a little crown on it. It's real cute. And he gave it to St. Jude's charity. Whatever.
The money, not the card. The card went to the winner. The money went to the charity.
Did all the money go? Was it 100%? Did he say?
I believe it was 100%.
Yes, it's all going. It's all going. 100%.
Okay, is it through eBay or is he gonna donate it?
Yeah, it's eBay. It's going through.
Okay,
eBay has a charity program. It shows it on the listing.
Okay. I'm just cynical. Let me.
Why is everybody so cynical about this?
I don't know.
This
I don't
dude?
know, bro.
He raised $50 million or $50,000.
A lot of the charity things that have went on in the hobby. If you've been in the hobby for 5+ years, especially a lot of the stuff during COVID and things like that, I think people are just more skeptical. Right.
We're just spooked,
the internet,
dude.
Right? Everyone's going to be skeptical of something that comes out of nowhere. It's headlines everywhere, and then you've got celebrities getting involved, and then there's always a charity auction at the end, right? I think it's fair to be skeptical, but it does look like this is legitimate. It looks like he ran it through eBay, is doing it for St. Jude's, which is a great cause. It's cool to take something like that's rather unexpected, it feels like. Maybe he knew it would eventually blow up someday, but it seems rather unexpected for most people, and find a way to do some good out of it. Right, at the end of the day, that's a great thing.
That's awesome.
So let's take it back a step. So first of all, I want to say all of us watched a video, and I've got the name of the video here because Mason sent it to us. Check the box on YouTube. Go give them a subscribe. Watch the video. We'll put a link in the description. It's called Kabillions, The Rise of Kabuto King. We watched it just to kind of get up to speed on all this. I'd seen a little bit of it on Twitter. Or X, I guess it's now. People talking about it. And I think at one point even, I didn't see this in the video, but I'm pretty sure I saw on X at one point that somebody had offered him $50,000 to sign another one. And he said that he wouldn't do it. That was going to be the only one. He had turned it down and said because the auction was still going on. I'm 99% sure I saw that on X. Not him 50,000, but 50,000 for charity, I'm pretty sure is what it was. And this was before the auction was at 50K. I'm 99% sure. So somebody out there, if I'm wrong about this or I dreamt it up, let me know. But I'm pretty sure I saw that on X about it. And so yeah, I want to take it back though to the start. You got a guy, and he says, "I'm going to get every first edition Kabuto."
Yes.
Kabuto.
Which is crazy. Okay, yeah. That's my first question.
How do you pronounce it?
Kabuto or Kabuto?
It's Kabuto.
Kabuto.
You're just saying the same word, but different.
It's potato again. You did this last week.
Kabuto. Kabuto.
With Nummel.
Well, the Nummel Numel is a completely
It's
legitimate
not.
ask.
It's
Alright,
potato
alright.
potato. But
Okay, when are we gonna
Well,
get
you know,
the
nobody
op-
says potato.
just allow
So,
it.
like, that's stupid. Yeah,
Fine.
correct. One of them is incorrect. It's potato.
Tomato, potato,
Just allow
tomato,
it.
potato. It's the same.
Anyways, okay, so
Just-
Kabuto, Kabuto.
You good? You're doing it
Okay,
right.
Kabuto,
Sorry, my brain. Yeah,
Kabutops,
now I'm like,
Kabutops.
dang, like, because
Stop
Kabutops, you don't say
overthinking
Kabuto,
Kabuto.
Kabutops. Maybe some
I
people
do.
actually,
I
but
say
Kabutops.
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 you don't say Kabutops.
Kabutops.
No.
What are you? Well, you're a Naruto fan. It's Kabuto, right? Like
Maybe that's why.
it's Kabutops.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. Well, Pokemon names are hard. By the way, you know what this
They're
reminds me
not.
of is when Pokemon Worlds came out this past year and like gave the correct pronunciations of
Mhm.
different Pokemon and
The
did like
Rayquaza one.
Rayquaza versus Rayquaza, and
Mhm.
like the internet was mad about
We're
okay
not
with
gonna allow it.
Not okay with
Yeah.
it.
We're not
Yeah.
allowing it.
Pokemon is wrong. It's
they
Rayquaza.
because they say it's
They said that.
Rayquaza, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
think
definitely Rayquaza.
No,
Yeah, like
definitely
that
Rayquaza.
one is like definitively like
It's
you
just
wonder-
phonetics, my guy. It's
Right. You
phonetics.
wonder who is the arbiter of this? Who is the arbiter of the final like pronunciation? Because there has to be a translation there, right? And
So interesting story there. I actually met one of the people from the old WotC days who worked hand in hand. Was the person who was doing the translations to the English cards from Japan. So she was the one basically determining hand in hand with the Japanese counterpart what they were going to be pronounced as or
No
written
kidding.
up as. Yeah.
interesting. That's cool.
At
Maybe
one
someday
point
we
it
should
was
try
her.
to get her on the podcast.
Yeah.
and, like,
Can we have? Can
be
I
like,
have
what
a
were you
meeting,
thinking
dude?
with Rayquaza? You know, like what was going on there? Although that might have been after her
No,
time.
that was after her. That was after her.
Because EX would have came like, I don't know though. There's that whole thing about like they had the prototype set of
maybe.
Sandstorm or whatever that was Jamboree right before, and then the whole like WotC
Right.
Pokemon takeover thing, which is another interesting story. The unreleased set. Mason's sitting here like, we have gone so far off Kabuto King.
Yeah, Kabuto King.
By the
Okay.
way, it's Boo. It's Kabuto. Thank you.
Kabuto. See, so there is a correct. It's not
Kabuto.
potato. It's Kabuto. Okay.
I don't
Anyways.
think I said anything different.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah,
Kabuto.
Nate, put up a picture of Boo from Mario when we say that. Kabuto.
Boo.
Boo.
Yeah. So Kabuto, he wants to collect every first edition one, which obviously is not realistic. But one of the interesting things that came out of this.
Don't poo-poo this
we
man's
haven't
dream.
touched them all. You're right.
Let him.
Let him
He could
live.
get them all.
Let him collect.
He's
Collect
gonna
what you
go
love,
sift
but do it
through all the
intelligently, my
landfill for
guy.
all the ones that made it there. You've got a bunch of other people that went on the internet and started buying them to the point that it's raised the market price for this card to like $40+. Now, inevitably, that's going to come back.
Kabuto's a meme coin. I hate to say it. Kabuto's a meme coin, and
It's
that's
not
such a
liquid
sad.
at that price point. Okay, it's just not going to happen. You can't sell that many.
250
They
sold in the
are,
last
dude.
month, dog.
Tons of them have sold.
It's
Yeah, there's graded
trending,
ones
my
selling for
guy.
hundreds of dollars, dude.
Gross.
Like it is a meme coin, and it's interesting because this is not the first like meme coin thing we've seen in
No.
the hobby. I can't remember the card, but Pokey started the buyout on some random card. I forget what it was.
Barbaroach.
Barber.
Barboach.
Yeah.
Barboach.
It went from 2 cents to 20 cents. dude.
Barbaroach, what is it? I
It's
don't know.
Barboach.
All
Okay,
I know is that
Barboach.
I'm going to be
Yeah.
the Omnite man, Omni-Night man, and I'm going to buy all the Omnites.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Okay.
You can be, if you can tell me right now, what is the best Ammonite card in the TCG?
Is it the Helix fossil or is it the other fossil? The best Ammonite card is clearly the Vending Series.
Vending
one.
series. I was gonna
Incorrect.
say that.
No. There is one, I think it's Legend Maker. I don't remember the exact set. It's in the EX era, and it's an Ammonite, and in the background, there's two of them, and he's crying, and it's Forever One Ammonite, and they have the two behind him have a heart in the bubbles.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
a good one. That's a good
That's
one.
right.
Oh,
And the
you're right.
reverse hollow like foils nicely. That's
Weeks
the
is
best
right
one.
again.
Not even
Legend
close.
Maker, Cosmos Hollows be hitting, dude.
It is
Yeah.
Legend Maker.
Okay. Anyways,
Mhm.
I just know because that's actually one of my favorite cards in the TCG.
card.
Like
That's a good
bar
one.
none. I have to say, I'm an Ammonite guy. Like Ammonite versus Kabuto, I'm an Ammonite guy.
Praise Lord Healing.
But-
Almost. It's
Mhm.
Ammonite, but almost star. Okay, we got to
It's
stop
weird.
this. I'm sorry.
That is
Okay.
weird. Yeah, it is weird, but it is weird when you think about it.
This is how we
okay.
get 2-hour episodes.
Yeah, sorry about
Yeah,
that. everyone.
exactly.
I apologize.
Anyways, the point I was making though is this is not even the first like meme card movement we've seen this year. This is just the one.
There's the Clobopus that has the Bubble Mew artist that like went stupid after the Bubble Mew popped off. There's so many cards that this happens to actually.
This is this happens to every card. Like it happens. Like people take positions. They don't talk about it publicly. They take positions. They buy out stuff. It happens all the time.
Yeah. But I'm talking about like a card that like normally would not like if you're like, man, I'm gonna buy out a card, I'm gonna make a bunch of money. You're not picking Barbo. You're not picking first edition Kabuto. But this is
Kabuto.
like, you know, Kabuto. I know now. I've got myself messed up. Anyways, Mason's like dying with it. Like I said it, and you could just feel it just stabbed him right in the chest. Anyway,
right in the cardigan. Watch out!
What a Kabuto's little pincer just went right in. Anyways, it's not the first one that we've seen. This feels like the most organic one that we've seen in the sense that just like became an interesting meme that everyone wanted to be a part of, right? And as opposed to, you know, the Poke Anyone was like, hey, if you buy this, I will give you a credit on my website.
I'll just pay you. This much.
And then that one's gonna go to the moon, right? Do you guys think this is gonna become a regular thing? Like, are we gonna start to see this like every 3 months? It's like a new card with a new story behind it, something that everyone like, get your bulk now, Bulk King Mason ready to go.
Oh, he's ready.
Yeah. Do you think that
I need to go through my WotC stuff and see if I got
that's exactly okay. I had
look,
okay. ADHD brain, I literally was going to say the question, do you guys think this is going to happen in 3 months? But I also simultaneously wanted to say, Mason, how many of these did you find in your bulk? And then I realized I was going to like pivot us again. So.
There's a solid number of people who just like sit on tons of this stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
That will never sell it because they just love having it. But at this price point, you kind of have to sell it. So like someone Nick, old school has bought WotC bulk since day one.
He was just talking about this yesterday, like listing those Kabutos.
Yeah, like I remember shipping him 5,000 count boxes. Like there are plenty of people that have been buying that stuff up just to have it because it's cool to have. And when this happens, like you can capitalize it so easily. I feel like because there's never like I don't care what like any card I feel like that's available online. Somebody could buy them out by like what's listed. You know, there's not like no one is on TCG Player with 1,000 of these things, right?
No,
right.
Like maybe there's a guy with 100, maybe there's 10 guys with 10, 20, whatever. But realistically, you could buy out just about any of these cards that you want to start a meme coin with until people get smart and start organizing their bulk and have it readily available.
Yeah.
I mean, at least first eds are a little difficult to get, at least. I mean,
especially if you want to get better condition ones. And, you know, it's interesting because, you know, we're talking about this from like a meme perspective of like somebody could do it as a meme or like do it as a bot or whatever. You know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is interesting from this perspective because there are a lot of vendors that keep Yu-Gi-Oh! Bulk back because of how the competitive game does their ban list, where they don't do like formats. Every card is legal until it hits their ban list and gets like semi-limited or limited or banned, to where there are vendors that will just keep bulk from every set for years and years because inevitably they'll print some card or some archetype that'll bring one random common from 15 years ago back into the meta that's viable. And then it just skyrockets because nobody has it anymore. And where do you get it? Which then obviously like opens the door for Konami.
Mason. Cards in the mall, folks.
But yeah, but we've seen it countless times that like it's happened, and that you know you'll have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Common that was a penny, if that, then becomes $10, and like this is what it kind of reminds me of. Is that
bro the Mew from Celebrations 10-cent card 2 years ago $5-6 now, like what?
Well, at one point they were like $10 on eBay because I had a buddy that was like selling through
$800 PSA 10
and $800 PSA 10. It's insane. Like,
which
just
part of that's because like they're really hard to grade apparently or whatever, but like that's still crazy, right? Like,
same thing with like the Celebrations Pika. 10 cents.
Yeah.
$6 now, man.
So absolutely insane. Has caused crazy market activity. Now we would be remiss.
That's just demand. That's not even meme coining. Like
yeah, no, true. Yeah. I was talking about the Kabuto. I'll bring it back to Kabuto.
Sure.
Right. We would be remiss to not talk about the other part of this that happened, which is that there was a Kabuto meme coin. So John, you had compared this is like a meme coin of the cards in the hobby. But then there was an actual meme cryptocurrency made. That was, I don't know if we can even really call them currencies.
This is where they
anymore.
lose me, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
everyone always
upset.
calls them currencies. I always consider meme coins not currencies because there's nothing currency about them. But anyways, one was made, I believe it was made by the guy. At least that's what the video made me think. Maybe I just misunderstood it. But he's getting, it sounds like he's getting a creator share off it. So I assume he was the creator. That was up to like $108,000. That's all going back to building the collection, apparently. And so this guy's like, I'm going to collect every Kabuto and I'm buying them all. And it's a really interesting story. Has now supposedly made him over $100,000.
I thought the video said it got to like 11 million.
No. That was the view count on the post. No. The creator revenue share of the meme.
Oh, the rev share. Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah, it's over like $100,000. Like
Holy
according
cow,
to the video,
okay.
like $108,000. If I understood it right, Mason, you watched it. Did I understand that right?
Yes, I think so. For my limited
Yes,
knowledge of crypto,
Your Honor.
I don't know how it all works, but yes, he somehow got money.
Yes,
As
Your
a person
Honor.
who owns no Bitcoin, Your Honor.
Allegedly.
No bit. I have one little bit. That's all I got.
One
Yeah.
little bit and it ain't a
mean,
coin.
I love that and hate that. I mean, like, it didn't seem like, to my knowledge, and I wasn't paying close attention to this, but he's not like pitching this thing and like hawking this thing at people like it's the next big thing. It was just out there for people to buy.
I think he just like, I made a coin. It's funny.
Yeah.
He could have just made
Yeah.
a Patreon though. Like
It's
Well,
some
either way,
I
like
don't know.
people made the decision to make a play on it. It wasn't like it wasn't a part of this bigger idea. So like, good on him. Like,
Yeah, I
good
mean,
business
God
sense.
bless, but-
Good business sense to have that
there's,
ready. And
I mean, there's a meme coin made every day for everything, right?
Yeah.
And there's creator coins, right? People make creator coins and then use those to like reward their audience. I know people do that on Twitch where like they'll make a coin and however much coin you have determines like what rewards you get.
well, that's like that
Love
fine
that.
line of like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm making
yeah,
this
no, I
so you
definitely-
make money, right? Like, he
Yeah,
just did
yeah,
this for
I
whatever.
definitely get it, right?
Yeah.
But he makes this coin. At some point, it gets to like $11.4 million in market cap, and then comes.
What?
I think it's at like 3.1 million as of the time the guy made the video or something.
Oh god.
So obviously it crashed back down, but like, and like market cap, right? You have an initial supply of coin based on current value, so like that's probably like an illiquid 3.1 million. Like there's probably like I would assume you can't just like sell out and like I
Well,
got my
it'll just
money.
crash. Whatever,
Um, But it's just interesting, right? Like the thing I always think about is like who's buying the meme coin? Like because if I wanted to be a part
E4?
of- maybe. If,
How did
if
Radar
I-
get rich?
Poor
yeah, and it's a link to that. Radar actually is Kabuto King. We revealed it right here on the pod. No,
Oopsies.
it makes me
I'm not.
think about like because if I want to be a part of the meme or I want to be a part of the current event, which I think is cool, I totally get that. I love being like we talked about on the Black Friday, like waiting in lines and stuff like that. I love being a part of like big social mass events, but I would want to buy a Kabuto, like the card, like because that's what started this whole thing. Not like a fictitious coin that like really has nothing to do with it. So that just always makes me wonder who's buying.
He
right?
should have
Who's buying?
backed his Kabuto collection with the Kabuto coin. So buy into his Kabuto collection.
He
with
should
this
have
coin.
fractional shared his Kabuto
Wow.
collection so you could own a piece of the.
That's
hey
a
man,
whole other
if you want to
topic for
hire
another
us
episode.
on for consultation for
Just
your
saying.
Kabuto collection,
When
I'm,
Radar coin
Listen.
comes out and you want to buy in on my mutual fund of collectibles, hey,
there you go. But
If you
it'll
want
be
anime cells in your portfolio? Tap
golf
in.
clubs, anime cells, manga. everything.
It's super liquid stuff. Tap in.
Literally, yes, the most
It's cool,
and,
but it's cool.
But it'll be interesting to see, just to kind of tie it off with him, it'll be interesting to see where this all ends in terms of like this anything more come or does it kind of fizzle from here, the auction's over, whatever. And does he eventually like get bored of first edition Kabuto and expand to like the other Kabutos?
Nah, I got faith in him, dude.
anything? Or is
Or
he
do-
just forever
we-
gonna grind that card?
No.
right? And,
Do we see a Kabuto King Kabuto auction, the whole collection all at once?
That's what I'm saying. That's the next step.
not if he's a diehard. If he's dedicated, I would lose faith in the story. If that was the end of it, like I'm auctioning the whole thing off,
Kabuto
even if it
King-
was for charity.
Wait, hold on. Is Kabuto King the Reddit GameStop guy? What's his name? Kitten.
Buddy.
Lord Kitty, no. Okay. This is John. And he's
roaring
like got
Litton.
bored, and he's like, okay,
I got
wait a
strings
minute.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah,
He's the
this
Charlie
guy,
Day
and
of the
then,
hobby,
he's got
dude.
Power
See,
pads
that's
and
crazy.
That's the next one, Sean. Is it's going to be roaring Litton, and it's going to be a Litton card.
Okay, all right. Mute John. Okay, anyways, the Kabuto King. Mason, thank you for bringing him to us. Do you have any
I feel
final
bad
words
now,
about
but
him?
he's out there now.
For shepherding in the
Poor guy,
Kabuto
poor
King
guy got
story.
trying to
Thank
collect
you.
some cards, and we just ripped him for 20 minutes. All right.
It's
No, I think it's cool.
fine.
We didn't rip him. I think it's
Okay, what card would you do that with? I know with the card that you have that you like keep back, Mason. One of them at least.
Whoa!
cool. Whoa!
I'm not giving
Don't even let the guy answer.
Gaslighting
That's
him.
usually my
Say
job.
nothing. I'm just
Exposing him.
saying.
That's my sock drawer. Don't tell people.
Listen,
What's
I'm
that? What
just
is the card?
saying.
No, what is the card? Now you have to share it now.
He doesn't want to.
He tells people all the time. He's capping like it's a secret. It's crazy.
I actually don't know this about you.
Then
what's
you're
the
not
card?
that good of friends with him. That's insane.
Wow.
Do you not
Oh.
listen when your friends talk to you?
It's the EVV Max ETB promo. The Shining
jumbo,
Face.
Shining
the
Fates.
jumbo
Shining
Eevee.
Fates. G Max.
Oh my god! Wait, are you keeping that back because you think someday it's gonna go, or you just like it that much?
I paid 50 cents for him, my man.
Yep.
This
There'll
one's
have to be
better.
more than that someday.
Yeah, they're already
That's
$5.
that's not the one he's talking about, John.
No, it's not. That one's
different
better. I'm
one.
saying.
John's just shilling his. Yeah, okay. Just wanted to clarify that we understood.
He
what was
also
going on.
paid $15 a piece for that.
I will say I
He's
like that
down.
one.
$4.
I like that one,
Okay,
Mason.
okay.
I just saw it so frequently in that window that like I can't look at it and be like,
You're not impressed by it in any way, shape, or form.
Well,
is what
Well,
you're
we
saying.
know
Okay.
Squeak's card is one piece. It's not even Pokemon. So
no, boo, no. I there is a Pokemon card. If I had to collect, like, I want to say Jungle Jolteon, but it would be such an expensive endeavor to even like get enough
matter.
of them that to have an interesting conversation that like I would never do it.
You pick
So
that
honestly,
one
it would be
over
forever
Light?
Lone Omnite.
what about Light Jolteon?
That also expensive.
That's
Crazy.
super expensive
Yeah.
too. It's
Super
a great
expensive.
card, but
No,
hell,
I
it's
think Forever Alone Omnite would be a cool
That's
one.
the one.
The
So you're
Legend
going to be
Maker
the
one.
Omni Man then. Omni
Yeah,
Man.
I think.
Get it
That,
started.
oh my god, I could before we post. I get like choked up. I'm so excited. I could get like 100 of them. Go make all the social, and then be his
Mhm.
friend. We could
the
be
Heart
buddies.
Helix.
There it is. What about you, Thrifty?
Oh my god. It has to be something cheap. Like you know what I mean? Let's see. Oh, you know what?
Thrifty brings the
Lost-
question and doesn't even know what her card is.
Listen, chill out. I'm just allowing an exploration in my head.
Allowing it to
just
simmer.
let it. I think I'm gonna go with a Ghastly card for this one. This
What?
one.
That
I like it.
What?
I don't know. It's just what's in front of me, dude. I
Now-
don't know what to tell you.
I have a real answer to this one because I actually did this as a kid. I
As opposed to all
purposely
of our fake answers.
I purposely traded for this card and built up like I used to put as many as I could in one sleeve in a binder, and so they were like super heavy pages. But it was the base set Charmander. I had like 200
I like
of them as a
that.
kid. As a kid,
That's
I
pretty
did this-
cool.
unintentionally, just like I liked the card, so I always traded for them when
I'm trying to think. Like the only card I have a lot of
So base
is
set
like
Charmander.
probably Erica's Invitation from 151. That's like
yeah,
the
I
most
was
underrated
really
card.
surprised when you said that random Ghastly.
It's just literally sitting
Yeah,
on
me
my
too.
desk, and I don't know.
That's a swear binder, by the way, Squeaks.
Is that?
Yes, you just
What did he say?
he said the A word.
Does he get
Yeah,
out to
that's a
shoot me
swear
card?
word. You can't
Dang, all right,
you can't
I'll
say
bring
that.
a card.
You
I'll
can't
bring
say
a
butt
card.
like
This
that.
is the card I'm buying out. This one, Shiny Snom. That's
there you
what it
go. I like that one. That's actually a good one.
That's
my
the card
guy.
she's
Shiny
putting in the
Snom.
square binder for me right there. Shiny
is. You want the
Snom.
Shiny Snom in the binder? You owe
I
me
want the
$3.
Shiny
It looks
Snom
like a
in the binder.
butt. It looks like
It looks
the
like
word.
a butt. Exactly.
Yeah, it does
This
look
is
like
the one I'm
it does.
buying out.
Yeah, it fits
This
for
is
the
my
word.
meme coin. Tap in,
But
folks.
yeah, I'm really surprised that you said that Ghastly.
Okay, I'm just.
without
It
the
literally is
swear.
on my
As a-
desk. This is.
Yeah,
this
cop
is
out.
the
It was a
answer.
cop
This
out.
is the answer.
It was a cop
Like,
out.
I'm surprised you didn't say like Erica's Tangela or something from like Jim Heroes or something. Like,
If I had money, if I was rich, I would do Erica's Venusaur probably.
oh really? I thought you would have said Vileplume, the one under the tree where they're laying.
I
sleeping.
like that one too,
Mm.
but and I also already have that collection. But if like I didn't have that already, I would do Erica's
But
Venusaur.
you don't have
probably.
1,700.
I don't have 1,000, but
You don't
I
have
do have
all of
like
them.
7. You know what
Remember,
I mean?
his goal was all of them.
I'm not that guy, pal. I'm
This
not a
is
completionist.
a hypothetical question, Thrifty. You
I-
came up with it.
Listen, I'm just saying, like, completionism doesn't do it for me, is all I'm saying.
All right.
I'm good.
I'm
good
thrifty
at
and I
the
hate my own
100.
question. Please answer.
Yeah, just answer my question. I don't want to answer it. Just take
All
care
right.
of
Well,
it.
let's transition over. So that interesting auction did an interesting auction for charity, but that's not the only interesting auctions that we've had happen in the hobby. Just I think it was just a couple days ago. Probably it'll be like a week ago from when you guys see this. The Goldin 100 auction finished, mostly predominantly sports cards, but there were 4 Pokemon cards that were in this auction, and this is like the high end, the big stuff, the grails that you usually see in the Goldin 100, and that's exactly what we saw here. 4 cards that were in this episode. This is the episode. 4 cards that were in that auction, and in the auction, the biggest one being a PSA 8.5 Pikachu Illustrator. Sold for $610,000. There was also a first tournament third place trophy card in PSA 8 for $378,200, which is really interesting because I believe on the Golden Touch, the show they sold like a set of them or something that sold for like less than that amount. But we'd have to go back maybe the second tournament versus
Proving that you should not have bunched them in the first place.
Maybe they shouldn't have been bunched. They also had a no rarity Blastoise in a PSA 10 that sold for $231,800. That was actually the most surprising one to me. And then a Tropical Mega Battle CGC 9 for $12,500. So
Lucky
quite
Stadium.
a step down from the other 3. The only CGC card of the bunch, but it did make it into the auction. So, Radar, as being our resident, super high end guy, I want to start
Radar
with
land. Here we
on
go.
just your general thoughts about the results of these that we've seen so far.
So the Blastoise has sold multiple times in the last like year or two, and it I think the first one was around that, and then it like tanked, and it was one of those cards of like, oh, they overpaid for it, and now it's back up. So no rarity, kind of makes sense, especially after the record breaking 10 Charizard that was also on Golden, right? Maybe Heritage.
I don't
So
remember.
Blastoise does not surprise me at all. I think no rarity is solidified itself for what it is, and there's a lot of high end collectors.
True first Ed base. My board.
Yeah, like it's way better than we're seeing it on Heritage. The no number Charizard that like went bonkers and then completely crashed. Like no rarity solidified, so that doesn't surprise me at all. The Tropical Mega Battle Lucky Stadium was quite low for what it was. I think people love that card, but it's very niche. Like it's a very niche card, but highly, highly sought after for collectors just because of the artwork and the rarity of it. So that was shocking. My question to you guys on this is that Illustrator, that's a huge price based on the historical pricing of the last like 2 years. Is Golden just like the place to sell illustrators? Because all of them that sell in Heritage have been lower, like 200-300K in the last however bit. So is it a factor of timing, or does Golden have the buyers for illustrators? Because they had that $2 million PSA 9 sale. Like
that was a private sale, correct?
Fixed price private sale.
He's pulling people out of the woodwork to buy these things. Like
so
like
like
Ken came out, Ken Golden, right? Didn't he come out and say that it sold or something? Was that
and like Ken's had Logan Paul on with the 10 talking about the crazy prices of that. So is Golden like the place to sell illustrators and these trophy cards now? Because that trophy card was also super high price comparatively. So
maybe, right? So, and we'll get into this in a little bit. Spoilers. We're going to talk about the Heritage auction that's ending literally probably right now as you guys are watching this when it comes out. There's an illustrator in that. So that'll give us some clarity into, is Golden, Heritage, these other places, or is just this card hotter right now, right? I think that's an interesting question, is just because of where the market's at, because of the rise of crypto, because of the rise of Pokemon right now, One Piece collectibles in general, are everything. Is this just the time to sell illustrators if you have, or cards of that caliber if you have them, right? Because you start to get into a caliber of card. First edition Shadowless Charizard, illustrators, no rarity cards, things like that, trophy cards, where you almost have these ebbs and flows where like it doesn't make a lot of sense to move them until all eyes are back on the hobby, right? Until it's making big news headlines outside of just the sphere of people that are daily engaged with it. And it does feel like to some degree we're starting to get back to that point where, all eyes are on the hobby. It makes sense to do it now. And so I would tell you that I think it's maybe less golden and more, at least for now, and more just the right timing. But I actually am a little surprised we didn't see it sooner when, we saw a lot of the stuff. And maybe it's because there was just so much focus on like modern and Bubble Mew and then, prismatic evolutions and all that we just hadn't gotten through the cycle of like, oh, first Ed Charizards are going up. Oh, now it's trophy card, kind of like how we always go through the cycle of every part of the hobby. But that's what I would chalk it up to is just we're getting to that point where like the big cards and the news headlines and stuff are
Vintage is back, baby. It's taken a lot longer than I thought it would, honestly. I thought the vintage was going to pick up much sooner. And I mean, this boom we've been in has just felt like forever. It's awesome. But like
that's true. Do you think it ties, because you mentioned, is Goldin a place to sell? Golden Show, the Golden Touch, is having a new season on Netflix that comes out right around Christmas, I believe. Mm-hmm. Do you think this line that people like started selling these things when the promotion of that show started?
100%.
They've been promoting it for a while.
I just saw a commercial today for it, actually.
And I've been hit up every season to they always ask me every season, do you have anything you want to put in this big auction that'll be highlighted in the show every season? So these absolutely were probably a part of that, or I don't know if they overuse that that pitch, but yeah, that very, very well could have been a part of that. But I mean the other thing too, like Heritage has its own group of loyal buyers. Goldin has its own group of loyal buyers. They have their own relationships, and people don't even know about all the different auction houses. So
sure,
I do kind of have a higher percentage in my mind of like this just being specific buyers on Goldin versus Heritage. Sure. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, when we get to the Heritage one, then I would love to hear your thoughts on how you think that one's going to do then comparatively to this one. And we'll kind of talk about the differences between the two and everything. The tournament card, that one was pretty interesting to me. 378.2 thousand. I believe, and maybe I could be misremembering, or maybe it was second tournament ones that were sold, but they had sold a set of them together. And I'm pretty sure not only did it go less than this, I thought it was like considerably less than this. I could be wrong. I can see John's going to look it up for us here. Hopefully he can find it. But that number to me just seemed large for a PSA 8, which is a good grade for a card that old. Because you got to think. Well, it was on the Golden Touch in season 1, 2.
Well, there's the 97, which is the first. Then there's the 98 and 99. Same artwork. They have a different.
And maybe the set was one of the other 2 years. This one was the first year, his first tournament.
It was, okay. So that's because I know that the trio they sold, I think, was 98 or 99. It wasn't a 97 trio.
Okay, so maybe that was the biggest difference. Maybe there really is just that big of a gap between them. Another thing that we might get some insight into at the Heritage Auction, because I think they've got both. But yeah, it's just, you got to think 378, second and third, probably, this is a third place, right? So second, in theory, of the same grade would go higher. First place would obviously go higher than that. You're talking like $1 million set, $1 million plus for a set of those. Especially first place would be considerably higher. That's a big price tag that we're getting to on those cards compared to where they've been historically. That's pretty exciting for the hobby to see, I think. So, there's not a ton more to extrapolate from those 4 cards, but
high end is hot.
It was, it was just interesting to see. Like, we're starting to see some of these bigger auctions ending that I feel like we've had really crazy Gold Star sales. We've had, first Ed Charizard. We had a big first Ed Charizard sale. We're getting ready to probably have another big one, big couple of them. But we hadn't really seen the creme de la creme cards come out through this wave like what we saw during COVID, where it was victory orbs and Pika rings and tropical mega battle cards.
Literally, like every week you'd have something
every
insane.
Week
like,
it was trophy card for trophy card, and it just didn't feel like in this wave we've really had that. It's starting to feel like maybe we're entering that era again, where trophy cards are gonna start taking some of the notoriety in the spotlight in the headlines, and that'll be interesting. Just going into year end, going into a new year, especially as we start to see how people work with their money in the new year with, earnings reports and text time and all these different things, how crypto does, that'll be an interesting one because we're seeing cryptos actually like starting to fall. I think it's down. It's close to what like its low is for the year. And so, it'll be interesting to see how these flow because there is a pretty large correlation now between Pokemon market
Bitcoin
activity
and
and cryptocurrency. And there's a large correlation between cryptocurrency activity and the stock market. So at this point, I think a lot of just alternative assets are starting to like correlate more to the market than what they used to. Whereas, back in the day, 2016, 17, they were almost inverse, like crypto and the stock market. So we're starting to see those correlate again. So let's jump to Heritage. Mason or Radar, if one of you guys can pull up the Heritage auction block, I think this will be a really interesting thing to talk about for where we're going, right? Because this, while you guys are watching this, many of these auctions are going to begin to complete. We're going to be looking at them from the perspective of about 5 days earlier and, what we think could happen. We'll do a follow-up on some of the more interesting ones here in the future, but, we're in a perspective now where we just talked about, the Illustrator, the Charizards, all these different things. If you could
there's a couple that I like. Listen, there's a
Yeah.
couple that I'm
sort
excited
it
to
early,
see.
time earliest. That way it'll group them all. Thanks. It'll group them all by Magic and Pokemon.
I always like to look at the highest price.
Yeah, we will.
Sort
We will.
by
We can,
highest.
yeah, we
Surprise,
can always do
surprise.
that too.
We get
but
it.
I want to start before we jump into the Pokemon ones. I want to start. There are some Magic cards in this auction that I
It's a
actually think
good
are
amount
pretty
of Magic
interesting.
cards.
Yeah, there's a ton. They always split the blocks. Heritage always splits the blocks. Usually they do all the Magic first. Sometimes if there's some Yu-Gi-Oh, they'll plug that in there and then they go to Pokemon. I think there's a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh in this one, but not a ton. But there's an Alpha Lotus in here in a CGC 8. It looks like a lot of CGC cards this time. It'll be interesting to see where these complete. Magic right now has had a lot of conversation that like vintage Magic is dead. That vintage Magic is just struggling. That all the focus now is on modern and collectors boosters and universes beyond and Avatar and Lord of the Rings and Final Fantasy and like who gives a crap about old Magic, right? I think a
Two
lot-
swear binders
No,
one
no.
day.
No, I pulled it in. Yeah.
He
I,
almost did. He
I
almost
got-
did.
I
pulled
swear
it
by
in. I pulled the
for a
Fernando
year.
Mendoza there and said crap, like he said. I think he said frick. But
Fuck, dude.
so yeah, it's I think a lot of people care about these. I don't know if these are going to set record highs, like what I actually expect a lot of the Pokemon cards to do, but I do expect these to perform well. Alpha Lotus, we see a lot of Power 9 here. I don't think we have to go over all the Power 9. I actually want to go to the...
I did
There's
The Moxes are out.
I sold 2 Alpha decks this year for charity, and we opened them at CGC, and we pulled the Chaos Orb. It was a Chaos Orb and a Time Twister in the same pack. It was sick.
Which is a
Great.
crazy
Crazy
opening.
box.
Like,
And then
from all the odds you could get, because I'm pretty sure you can pull Island is one of the rares in those. Like,
Yeah.
but it's the way
Yeah.
the sheet was done. So
there's like
crazy,
2 or
crazy cool.
3 sections you can do like 2 big cards, like two Power 9, and the Time Twister and Chaos Orb is one of the big ones. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that's super crazy. So a lot of these cards we've seen auction a lot over. There's a Lotus and a CGC 9, a Beta one. Yeah, that one's pretty interesting. But the biggest ones here are going to be, there is a card here that is the Magic the Gathering proposal card. So to give people out there the context, this was a card that when Richard Garfield proposed, I believe it was his ex-wife, there was a special card made and it was given to a very few amount of people that were like tight in his social circle.
It was a part of the invitation. It was part of the invitation.
Yeah, part of like the
Based-
wedding invitation. Yeah.
Based on the booklet here that it's with.
Correct.
So
And
anyone invited to that wedding, I assume, got one.
Yes, and so the card itself and the invitation, part of the agreement was that it wouldn't be shown like publicly on the internet. So for the longest time, you could not see this card. Out of respect for that, we are not gonna post the image of the card. That being said, if you have a Heritage account,
It's on
and you log
Heritage,
into it,
tap
they do
in.
have it up there. But we are gonna honor the respect and wishes of Mr. Garfield and not post that up. but it has been posted on the internet, was the first time that we got to see this card, which by proxy means the first time we're going to see this card sold. And that's a huge, huge deal, I feel like. I feel like that has not been given a lot of media attention. Mason, have you heard this in any of your social circles or anything about this card even being up and available?
No, I think there maybe have been a few sales of one privately, but not on a public forum, no.
Yeah, not on a public, which is kind of like the big disparity of like what we talk, like later we'll get into some public versus private stuff, but no public sales of this card. And that's, private sales are one of those things where you got to know the right people. You got to be in the right circles to even engage in those conversations to be able to get the opportunities to buy those things. Private sales aren't people on Facebook Marketplace like, hey, I want to sell this thing. Or very rare.
You got to be in the room where it happens, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And so, this is really the first chance for the average layman to just say, you know what? I want to own that card. I'll sell my whole collection. I don't care.
I have 10 bands. I want that card.
Yeah, exactly. And so, as the time that we're posting this, the current bid on this card is 5,000. So then, you factor buyer's premium, that it's probably like 6,250 or something. But that's nowhere near in my head what I thought this would go for. I don't even know what I actually think it's worth. But I know that I think it's more than that. And so I'm fascinated to see what this one goes for. I think this is an easy 5-digit card. I don't know if it would actually go for 6 digits. But John, do you have any idea? Do you know anyone interested in this card?
I'm interested in it. I'll be bidding on it 100%.
What card are you not interested in, John?
Bro, can you wait? I'm seeing some in here that I like too.
So I mean, you can compare this to the other Richard Garfield promos. And Mason, correct me on the ones I'm missing, but we have, which right next to it, we have Fraternal Exaltation, which I have one right here, which is kind of cool. This is actually just the booklet that it came with, but Fraternal Exaltation, Splendid Genesis, Proposal, and I think there's a 4th one, maybe even a 5th one. It's in this auction too. There's a newer one from 2014.
Real quick, I need to pause you to clarify, because you said this is the booklet. Is this not the card, but is the other one just the booklet? Or does it have the card?
This is just the booklet.
No.
The other one has the card, yes.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. Because it says wedding invitation booklet on the...
Well, it comes with the...
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. We didn't talk that whole time, and then somebody's in the comments like, what a freaking idiot. It doesn't even have the card.
I mean, this is a really high quality picture. This looks like the card to me.
But it says booklet. Just read the
invitation
description.
Booklet, including the
photocopy of the proposal card. So maybe it doesn't have the card. Maybe that's why it's not doing it well.
Which features a photo.
What? Oh, man, that's really it. Because now you wonder if someone's going to be dumb like us and go bid on it thinking they're getting the card.
Holy cow! Yeah. Does that mean how many cards were there then? Which featured a photo.
Well, that's why I didn't think everyone got a card.
Did a card ever come out?
I'm
or is it just a photo?
Sure.
Is there one card and they just photocopied?
Because how would they have photocopied it?
Well, they made one card. Did they make one card? That's crazy. Okay, that's insane. That kind
so that explains the lower price point then. Now, actually, I think that price is pretty high for just the booklet.
That's crazy.
But
I might buy the booklet for the Fraternal Exaltation.
Just for an invitation to somebody's wedding, you're paying 5 bandinis, dude?
That is wild.
Jesus.
But it is the only public image of the thing. But yeah, that makes more sense, right? Mm-hmm. More sense. But man, it'll be interesting to see what that ends at. And do we see that come up again, right? Because sometimes things go unpaid and you'll see them in a heritage auction later.
How many times have you thrown out a wedding invitation? Every time. So
all of them. Crazy.
And it's crazy that people, kept them from all the way back then. So but anyway, so John, you mentioned that one's only the booklet for the Fraternal, and then you were talking about the other ones that there are.
So there's Phoenix Heart, which is the 2014 Garfield event card. I don't know the story behind this one, how many there were. Obviously it's a newer one. But like Fraternal Exaltation is easily a mid 5-figure card, Splendid Genesis low 5-figure card, at least in recent sales. So I would imagine Proposal, being as rare it is, I would think it would be a 6-figure card pretty easily.
If it was the card,
If it was the card,
I
will
agree.
not be
think
bidding on that
no-brainer.
auction now that I know it's just the
Yeah. I think no brainer. If it was the card, it has to be 6 digits.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be confident.
7 digits. Is it 7?
No.
Okay.
No,
which will be a little reoccurring theme here in the pod. But I wanted to double check. Not 7. Mason, do you think it's 7? No.
I don't think so.
If it was signed, yes.
Is it 6?
6 or 7. 6 or 7.
6. Okay, that's the second episode that we've done that.
I
joking,
hate this, dude.
How old are we?
How
old
did
are
we
we?
get here, bro?
Yeah, I
do.
do question. I do question.
We're too old
If
for this.
Nate can eventually make a short out of all the times we've done 6 or 7, we're shutting the pod down. Like that's the one.
Well, Strong Magic showing on the Heritage Auction block. I love this beta box. Obviously, it's
Heavy
open,
magic.
so it's a little, is it searched? Is it not? I'm sure there's details on the on it. The Arabian
Generally,
Nights
that's what
box,
it is. Yeah,
like Arabian Nights box, crazy
that's a
rare.
big one.
Great.
Big one.
These are 60 packs, 9 card packs, I believe.
Yeah,
is that right?
I'm not sure, but that sounds. I know that they're a weird number.
Yeah, so Arabian Nights, seeing a sealed box is really, really cool. Yeah, 60 packs,
Yeah,
8
cards
each.
Yeah.
So like this has historically been like $250,000, so it's sitting at 82.5 right now. So we'll see where that ends up. There's some artwork unused, Liliana artwork.
Yeah, so this is the Amino is who they did the alternate art Liliana for the Japanese War of the Spark booster. So for anyone out there that doesn't know, when Magic released War of the Spark, it was a big culmination set that kind of, culminated the story of Liliana and Nico Bolas and all the Planeswalkers. And they, they went out and they got the rights to the Linkin Park in the end, and they did the trailer for it. If you've never seen it, it's freaking awesome. It'll give you goosebumps. And they got some artists to do special alternate art planeswalkers for that set because every pack contained a planeswalker. And so in the Japanese boxes only, you could get these alternate arts. And the big one to get was Amino's Liliana. And this is an unused, so probably, I don't know, they probably would have said preliminary sketch if it was that, but like an unused illustration artwork by Amino that in the background actually has Nico Bolas back there. So it's not just Liliana Vess. I actually think that one's going to be pretty interesting to watch because people that know the history of that, I wouldn't be surprised to see that perform pretty well. And it's just you don't really see that very often because usually a lot of these companies, Wizards, Pokemon, etc., they keep the original art. I guess in Magic you see it more that the artists themselves.
All that stuff is like internal, at least.
Yeah, well, some of the artists, especially the older ones, they retain the rights to their art, like the originals, because they sell them. There's like a whole Facebook group where you can buy the originals for the art.
Oh.
But the wait, what was that? What was that, Drift?
It comes with a lot of documentation.
What was that, Drift?
All right. Okay.
Swear binder. At least I'm not the only one on the board today.
You gotta put a
Not
magic
almost
card in this
let
time.
it go.
I don't. What? I don't have a magic card.
I'm just kidding.
Do you have a magic card?
Yeah, I just showed one.
Listen, that's
put that one in the swear binder.
Yeah, put that like 2K card in there. All right, I'll find a card.
And then we've got some more original Magic art.
All I have
and
is
then
this
we kind of we get to the the Pokemon. And
Let's get it.
This kind of gets us back to where we were talking about the Golden 100, where we had the first tournament, third place. It was a PSA 8, 378,000. Now here we've got a first tournament, first place, but it's only a PSA 5. Part of that is just going to be due to age, condition, things like that. But we also have a second place up here. That's an 8. We have a third place. That's a 7.
I love the third place. He's so cute.
We have first tournament, first place, second tournament. No. We have a full first, second, third.
Yeah, no, it's a full first set. And then there's also a second tournament first place in a 9.
Wow. And that's the highest one right now at 250.
Yeah, and that one's the highest. Part of that's going to be the premium on the grade as opposed to the tournament itself. So it'll be, one of the interesting dichotomies is going to be to see the first tournament first place versus the second tournament first place, but the second tournament has the higher grade versus the 5, right? And where does that land in pop reports, things like that. Go ahead.
We're already past the extra copy thing on these cards as well as the illustrator and everything, right?
Yep.
The whole Akabane scandal that happened with with these cards being printed, last year, this year, whenever they were. I'm going to throw my tinfoil hat on again here, Squeaks, but like, how long has he been doing that? How long has someone been reprinting these cards?
Well, to be clear,
have we checked
allegedly, it's not known if he was actually involved in it versus just doing the signing or any of that. Like,
Fair.
the details are very murky. So I want to be clear that we're
get the politics in there.
Who created the cards, right?
Let him
but
be
his
clear.
name was associated with it, and so that always just lends the question of,
are we checking these older certs for that print data? Are we checking PSA cards for that print data?
Well, so these are newer cert. That's a 9 cert up there. The 4 cert's a little older, right?
Right.
Yeah, you got to assume if it's graded that these grading companies are doing their due diligence, right? Obviously, the CGC thing happened. They've came out and said it happened. They're attempting to go through the steps to rectify that, doing their thing. I know you always put the tinfoil hat on, whereas I'm more of a give the benefit of the doubt.
Radar loves a tinfoil. He looks so good in one. He looks so good in it too.
And to be clear, some of those prototype cards were prototypes, right? Some of them did come out and were authentic, especially the lower grade ones, which is more what you would expect to see.
That's why I like these ones.
Cards. Yeah, which is why for a new cert being a 5, that actually
makes me feel
better.
For
me, and I get it, when you're a high-end person with a bunch of money, grade, notoriety, everything. But when I see a card that's a 5, that almost gives me more confidence because provenance and age and time, in theory, you would expect it to be a lower condition. I'm
cracking this baby out and putting them in a binder.
Binders, yeah, exactly. Because back then,
it's a binder copy. Oh, he's binder boying the freaking trophies,
yeah,
dude.
So it's one of those things. But we did see the images came out of trophy cards on sheets, was it some of the snap cards on sheets, things like that, which really raised the question of have there always been sheets of these things out there? Are those sheets being made now? And we've seen
of snap cards.
Yeah, we've seen extra copies of cards come out before, right? So it always lends the question. I think at this point, you just have to assume whatever amount you thought there was going to be, there's probably double that. And you accept that when you go into it and you buy it, right? The same way that I think the pop reports have a clips for Illustrator now of the amount of
way above,
that they're supposed to be. People accept it. It's just part of it. It's part of the nature of it. I've got a
just check
Diablo
that metadata.
Xbox. Yeah, I've got a Diablo Xbox behind me. There were only supposed to be 3 of them or something. I tell everybody, especially in video game console collecting stuff like that, and same with TCGs, assume that there's more. I assume there's at least 10 of those, if not 20, right? The Sonic Xbox with the fuzzy controllers, that was a big news thing that came out, and there was supposed to be 10 of those. Now it's been found out that they gave them to a lot of the people on the production crew, and Jim Carrey got one, and things like that. And so there's probably
Jim Carrey deserves one. Let's be real.
Yeah, definitely does. But there's probably 25 of those out there. But at the end of the day, there's 8 billion people on the planet or something. You know what I mean?
All I'm saying is I would love to check that meta print data, whatever PFM did on all of these to really know.
And I would venture to guess that these grading companies are being
all doing it now,
highly diligent on stuff like this at this point. And I would venture to guess these auction houses are also being highly diligent on this stuff at this point.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, same. And that's all you can do, right? As a consumer, that's essentially all you can do. Is do that, and then when you get it in, do your own due diligence, right? You can put that thing under a magnifying glass or a microscope or whatever they did to get the print data.
Yeah, PFM, buy all these so you can test them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the card he could Kabuto King is these guys right here.
Yeah,
all these.
Yeah.
So I want to bring up the
PFM.
Illustrator now, and I want to throw it to Mason to start us. So we just saw the Illustrator in an 8.5 that sold for $610,000. That was a PSA one on Goldin 100. Now we are seeing a CGC 9 new label, so the black label, not the old blue label. In its current bids, $260 with BP. That'll put it above $300,000. Still has time to finish. We don't know where it's going to end yet. So the first question I want to ask you is: do you think it's going to end higher than the 8.5 did? And let's just start with that one. Do you think it's going to end higher?
I guess this is really going to test whether or not high-end collectors think CGC's got the chops for this type of stuff or not, I guess, huh?
Yeah, comparatively, right? Especially because if, there was that period of time where, like, I think you could send your cards in from CGC, like, old Blue Label and get them bumped, like, a half grade or something if you repaid. Yeah. So, like, I don't know the cert number on this one. I don't know where that cutoff was. But I know a lot of people, or at least I do, make the mental jump of, like, whenever I see a CGC black label grade, I just assume, like, old Blue Label, it would have been a half point lower. So, like, in my head, it's like, oh, this is a Blue Label 8.5, right? Which is the same as the PSA 8.5 in terms of grade number. But is it in terms of public perception? And so that's more where I want to turn it to you, is if you owned this card, if this is Mason's Illustrator, do you regrade this card with PSA, even though you're going to have to pay a really large upcharge?
Yeah, I don't care. I want it in a PSA slab every time.
Okay. And it's hard to know. I see zooming in here, looking at, like, trying to see, it's tough
we're
to know,
double checking it right now, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to know because, like, some of these things are going to be on the scanner, and I know this from, like, scanning in slabs and trying to post them on eBay.
That's egregious on that 9, by the way.
Every time you zoom into a scan, it looks egregious. It's probably
correct. That is so true, because you got to think your card's like this large, and you bring it on a scan, and you're looking at it this size. Like I can
should be an
8.5.
I would bet this gets a PSA 8, like, just off of
like,
that's what I'm saying. If you regraded this to PSA, you'd have an 8.
Yeah, I think it would, but there's a chance it would get,
or like a 7, because there could be a nick where that little white spot is.
Have you seen 7s? I don't know. That's
exactly. It's weird.
It's an 8.
That's a pretty big jump. Yeah, I definitely don't think it's a 7. The front looks really clean on this thing.
It's really well centered.
But it's hard to know, right? Like, I saw the little specks in the R up there, but it's like, is that on the scanner, right? Like,
ooh, I mean, that to me is, that's probably scanner.
Or is that print? Is that a print?
That's a print deficit, or something
It could be the scanner though. Scanners do that a lot, where they just, like, chop out random bits.
Yeah. So it's like it's hard to know. And the thing is, you could also take that cert, go to CGC's website, probably look at the higher res scans. We're probably not going to do that here, but it's interesting, right? It's interesting that we're going to get another data point on the Illustrator. Still not a 10, right?
Where's it at?
It's halfway, 337.5.
Yeah, so it's a little over halfway.
I think 8.5 is a very novel grade too for, like, meme, like, it's a meme grade, like, you're not going to get another 8.5, will you?
Right.
Like,
lower pop.
It's low pop. It's like, low pop. There's probably more 9s than there are 8.5s.
I think if this hit 500K, it's a win for whoever's selling it. What did the 8.5 sell for? 600. Yeah. So I think 500K on this is a win. Will it get there?
It's just interesting, right? Because we know that private sale that was said to have happened of, like, what, 2 million for a PSA 9. Yeah. So like, how big is that gap, right? And, like, we know the gap between, like, a first. Yeah, true. Yeah,
cynical radar tapping in.
Yeah, cynical radar. Right. I'm going to take Ken Goldin at face value that he understands the value of his reputation, saying that kind of thing. But a $2 million sale, right? If you extrapolated a first Ed Charizard, if you said a first Ed sale in a 10 is 500,000, and we see a lot of the CGC 10s Black Label go for 150K, that's like 30% essentially of that price. If you did the same thing, 30% of a $2 million sale for the comparative, that'd be about 600K. That's about where we saw the 8.5 end. Sounds like a, pretty reasonable benchmark. So that would be my guess. If I had to blind guess with BP, 600K is where I think.
With BP 600? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it hits that with BP.
Yeah. So we'll see. Let's
get to the fun stuff.
We've got a lot of really cool cards.
A Squirtle snap card
coming up, or a snap card coming up. The Squirtle.
Those are Raiders' favorites. Come on now.
Squirtles are just so. I mean, snap cards in general are so off center, but Squirtle's notoriously one of the worst.
Yeah. Well, and this one's a 6, so you assume there's some kind of a dent or something in there, probably.
I mean,
back looking right. Dude.
It looks really clean.
Yeah, so a dent. It's got to be a dent then, right?
Got to be.
Like, because I'm pretty sure anything but, like, the most off-centered
Oh,
cards
it's
get AOC.
there's an issue in the top right corner, maybe.
That's typical,
Yeah.
you know, Japanese promo whitening up there.
Yeah, I assume
For it to
that
be a
if you take
6,
that
though,
thing
it's
under the
got to
light-
have.
It's got to be something on this.
some sort
Yeah.
of impression somewhere, which
Yeah.
you won't see in the scan.
But we've got a Squirtle. Squirtle's interesting. This one's already
55.
this one's in a 6, and this one's already, you know, up there at 60 or 71,000. Like this could be
Jeez.
over 100.
That's strong.
That's really good.
This is a really strong price, and this is what I mean, right? We're starting to see some of these bigger cards come out. They're starting to get some strong prices. It almost feels like we're moving back into that era, right?
Yeah.
Here we've got a Lucky Stadium Tropical Mega Battle in a PSA 9. We have the CGC 9 end at 12.5. It'll be interesting to see if this one you would expect if there is
very
that
new cert too.
Yeah, you would expect if PSA is that much stronger than CGC, which I think a lot of people perceive that it is, that this card's gonna grow. It's gonna run up higher. But we've got some other interesting cards in this auction specifically. You know, we've seen these, the number 1, 2, and 3 trainers. These have actually come up before.
These are so weird.
Yeah, because these actually feature the trainers that won them on them, which was an interesting thing that they did. But we've seen these come up before, so it'll be interesting to see if these reperform. But these are some big cards that people are looking at. Fan Club Magic Carp. What are some of the other... We've got to talk about the Tropical Mega Battle. So one of the early tournaments, Tropical Mega Battle, they gave decks to players based on the language that they played in to use in that event. And one of those decks right here is the English one. So these are, we never got the Verse Series cards in English other than these decks. These are extremely coveted. I don't believe this includes the Error Cloister. So there's 2 Cloisters.
Mantine.
Mantine is the
Mantine.
error.
Sorry, yeah, Mantine, not Cloister. I always confuse them.
There's one that has the weakness that's different.
Yeah, and so I don't believe this includes.
This is
both
the
of them.
old. This is not the. Oh, that's a good one.
This is the correct.
Yeah.
I think that's
Corrected version. Yeah.
Yeah, the point I was making is it only includes one. It doesn't include both.
Right.
This is the juicer, the Tropical Breeze.
Sure.
People love there's a whole series of tropical winds, tropical whatever promos at every Worlds that shows a Psyduck hanging out in a hammock in whatever fashion. So people collect that series. It's like its own niche collectible of Psyduck cards or just promo cards in general. So this Tropical Breeze card is one of the more sought after promos from this set, and typically the bulk of the price point. Like we've seen this card sell for 70,000 plus.
Sure.
So just this.
In what grade or raw?
I think just
Like-
any grade.
Oh, that's the error, by the way. You can
Jesus.
see it at the top. In the label, they actually labeled it error.
Oh, nice. It is.
So,
okay,
so
cool.
it's not the
Sick.
corrected one.
Got it. I love
So
that you
bulk
get
of
more.
the bulk of it
This
comes with
one.
the Tropical Breeze. Having the rest of the set's pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of energies in it and the trainers that are kind of boring.
And the energies are Japanese too, aren't they? Are they?
No,
I think it's just that there's no difference between the Japanese ones.
Oh,
and
okay,
the
okay, yeah.
hopefully
yeah,
they
but
came with the set. But yeah.
To see the English deck come up again, we've seen another
These
one
are
that
good
came up
grades,
a while
too, for
back.
these,
Yeah,
like-
pretty good grades.
Gen
for
Mid
these
10s in
tens.
here.
Like
That's
10s,
crazy.
yeah.
Like
3, 4,
This deck's
5,
already at
6.
78K. I wouldn't be surprised to watch this eclipse 150.
I agree.
I really
I
wouldn't
think
be
that's low, honestly.
surprised. Yeah, and it
Like,
might be. It might be low, but it's just to have this quality.
E
these high
series
grades-
in English is
it's-
literally like the Grail for English. Like
Yeah, but it's a Grail for like 5 people. It's another one of those sets, right?
I
that
know,
is
I
super,
know.
super niche. The Tropical Breeze is what more
and
people
Dave
are
already
after.
has it. Is the problem too?
Well,
Or-
and you know, I know Charlie wanted one for a while. I don't know if he ever got his. But like, you start to get to the point where enough of them enter and enough of these people, the big people, check
Well,
them off their list.
And
that's
the last
less-
one that sold, there was a big group buy, so everybody got to pick and choose which card they wanted.
Take the card
right?
that they wanted.
So,
yeah.
so that happens with these things. Like, there's going to be a group of people probably pooling money together to buy this, especially the German one or French one. I think there's only like one French that was awarded.
Really?
One of these sets, there was only one awarded. I forget
I
which
thought you
one
said
was.
German was the.
It was either
most
French or
rare
German.
one.
But yeah, we'll probably see a group buy for something like this, and people will pick their favorite Pokemon or whichever one they can.
Listen, if
afford out of
anybody
it.
wants to let me buy the
Yeah.
Hitmonchan,
Yeah, exactly.
Top
Exactly
end.
my point.
Thrifty's in. She's in.
fan.
So that's cool to see. It's always fun
And
to
then,
see.
you know, moving on, we got a couple of those test print cards that came
Ugh.
from the
Disco.
Disco test print.
I'm
sheet.
good.
We've seen these quite a few times.
Next.
One of the ones that hits close to home for me, though, is this Growlithe Fukano Magic
This
card.
is so crazy.
Because at one time I owned this card. So this actually,
Such a circle, bro.
yeah, I actually purchased this card from the Magic vendor Kid Icarus, one of the biggest eBay stores for MTG as well. And it was back in a time when you couldn't grade the card. PSA would not authenticate them. CGC did not exist yet. Beckett would not authenticate them. And so you actually couldn't get them authenticated. So there's 10 of these. They're not all Growlithe. There's 1 Arcanine, 1 Growlithe. And then I believe it's 2 Nidoran, 2 Tangela, and 4 Weedle, or something like that. There's 4 of one of the grass ones, and then 2 of the others, and then there's 1 Arcanine and 1 Growlithe. At one time, TCA Gaming had all of them, and had gotten them off of somebody, I believe, from Germany, and then split them apart, sold them in I think it was on Facebook. And because I remember when he posted they got them, and then Kid Icarus got one, or Icarus MTG, or what, I'm pretty sure it's Kid Icarus. And then I got it from them at Gen Con one year, and then I ended up selling it to a friend. I used to take it to events and let people like hold it in person and take pictures with it. And like after I kind of like stopped going to events, I was kind of like, oh, and now it's just sitting in a box, right? Like that's not fun. I want people.
The Growlithe was your emotional support animal.
Yeah, well, no, it was like I love history, right? And to me, this was like a really cool piece of like history where WotC was printing Magic, they printed Pokemon. There's the overlap of like test prints and things like that. And so it was one of those situations where I wanted other people to get to experience that joy, especially if a lot of those people will maybe never be able to afford a card like this. And so like I love taking it around, letting people look at it, see it. John's holding their one where the Pikachu got printed over the back, which is kind of a new subset era that we've seen come out in the last few years. But these are one of the earliest that came out, and were like very well documented that they came out. And so I wanted people to get to experience that joy of it. But then it kind of ran its course, right? Because I quit going to events, and so I sold it to a friend, where he ended up auctioning it on Heritage. You can probably look up the historical data. We don't have to, but I think it sold for like $26,000 or something.
It looks like Dubsy owned it at one point.
Yeah, Dubsy owned it. So the friend I sold it to was able to get it authenticated with CGC. And when they came out of the scene, because they were doing a lot more of like the prototypes and the test prints and stuff like that, and doing that work. And so they actually labeled this. They labeled it in air, MTG back, square corners. And then at some point, it was probably, I assume, Dubsy who bought it off of Heritage. Or they got it from whoever bought it off Heritage. It entered the Dubsy collection, which is now this notorious collection of, really high-end grails. And now it appears that either they or whoever they sold it to has put it back up onto Heritage. I'll be honest, at a little different point in my life now, I'd love to own this card again.
All right, where would you put up?
I don't know. Obviously,
can't say the number.
Wouldn't say it now because the auction's probably not to this point where we're at in the pod, so wouldn't say it now. But I don't know. I don't know what my price point would be on it. I can tell you that if it sold for what Nate originally sold it for on Heritage the last time,
you would pass.
I probably would pass. Yeah, just because there's other things in life that I would rather.
Bro, there's so many consoles you could buy with 30 bands.
Well, and like just where I'm at in life, right? That's a lot of vacations I could take with my son. That's a lot of and family. Like that's a lot of things. Like
vacations.
It's just a different thing. But it at this price point,
give your kid a memory to Disneyland or a card. Come on.
Yeah, like if this stays under 10K,
is nostalgia.
Like, would I trade 2 blue bottoms for it? Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
100%.
So yeah, so we have that.
Skipping.
We would be remiss to not mention that there is a first Ed Charizard at 10, old cert, very old cert, and a CGC Charizard in a 10, which we know that there's a discrepancy between the values. But the big talk is this card going to break 500,000? Is it going to break 1 million? Is it going to break, it's hard to know.
No, it's not going to break 1 million. Let's be real. The cool thing is you're gonna get to see PSA versus CGC play out live on Friday. Like that's
correct.
Mason, Mason, you mentioned that you would crack out the Illustrator.
Yeah. What about this one?
Give us some more insight on what you think between the CGC and PSA difference on a Charizard of this caliber.
I just think we were looking at the Magic cards. And they're all CGC'd. I know that there are some Magic collectors that would not even touch those because they're in CGC slabs, or if they did buy them, they would go to Beckett because Beckett is historically what Magic collectors like their stuff
Sure.
in. Traditionally, Pokemon collectors want PSA slabs. It's just if you're going to have something, have the provenance of and this echelon of thing, why not put it in the best possible slab for it to have the most broadest appeal to people? I think it's just PSA clears.
Yeah, don't get cute with it, honestly. Like, just
And I think for a lot of people, the hard part is the upcharge, right? Because if you're not going to sell it immediately, that's a big in cost. But if your goal is
Yeah.
eventually to sell it, that
I mean, there's
you
also
know.
a premium on the 10 versus the 9.
Yeah.
CGC 10 versus the PSA 9. So
And
if
this
you're
is a
not
thick
confident,
stamp first ed.
I mean,
Is
honestly,
it?
looking at this CGC 10 versus the PSA 10,
it's close.
it's close. I mean, that's an older cert, a little less, maybe a little less strict back then. I think it looks pretty comparable. So like, for me, I would just buy the CGC 10 and save myself a few $100,000.
If you're wanting to collect,
Yeah.
this is going to be
Yeah.
a no-brainer.
This is
but
the
that-
snappiest snap of your life. If you're
Yeah.
a
But if you're
collector,
looking at an investment, because you also, like, a lot of people say, well, just buy the CGC and regrade a PSA if you want a PSA. It's not that simple.
doesn't work
It's
like
because
that,
this
Bucko.
is an exclusive club. There's 125 of these.
Yeah.
How many more are
And,
coming?
like, they're going to analyze those cards with extreme scrutiny when they come
Oh,
in,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Because
So
it's a big deal when you give one out, and and they've got these grading guarantees and things like that. They've got to be sure when you're putting, especially cards like this now that are reaching $500,000.
It also got a bid while we were doing this before we started, so it's up.
Yeah,
10 grand.
so people
But,
are bid. So
uh,
now
So
it's
10
$10
grand.
I think it'll hit 500K, even though it's not like the strongest 10. It's still a nice 10. I think it'll hit
Yeah.
500K. It will not hit 1 million. Will it hit 600?
Will it beat the Illustrator?
The CGC 9? Ooh, that's a
That's
tough one.
close.
I don't think so.
Centered, off centered. Will it beat the Illustrator?
No, okay. What's the difference? What's the spread between the CGC and PSA? Like, what do you think? Over 200K or like?
Yeah.
Oh, more.
Way
The,
more,
C-
right?
the
Yeah.
CGC 10 Charizard?
Yeah.
Historically,
that'll
it's been
end
about
up-
30% on those.
30?
Like the CGC 10s, I think
They've
like
been
a lot
under
of people are talking
100K,
that
right?
PSA 10s are
Is it?
like 500K and CGC
I
10s
don't
are
know.
like 150 right now.
I think CGC 10s have been under 100K lately.
That feels insane.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there was a guy on Facebook selling one and he had it at 150. So like
Okay.
maybe he was so. But yeah, I would assume around 30% on those.
That's
And then we've got
crazy.
some other big cards. We've got First Ed. We've got a Legendary Collection Charizard in 10. Expect that one to go big. Gold Stars, which we've already,
No,
Gold
the
Stars
where are the
rampant
signatures at?
through the year.
There we go.
Some interesting full arts, old full arts, things like that. Got to mention the birds,
love birds.
Gladius. We've got some
I love
graded
birds.
packs, booster boxes. We've seen tons and tons of sealed.
There's
For
Japanese
how
booster
rare
boxes
sealed
in here
is,
too.
it feels like sealed never runs out. being
It's
sold.
amazing to see that Heritage is still dealing with them. I have so many people have stopped selling sealed, or auction
Yeah,
houses have stopped
true.
accepting sealed like this. So that's
That
cool to
is
see.
true.
We've got the no numbered 10 Top Sun Charizard that
Can you
once
somebody
set
fill
a
me in on
record.
this? What's happening? Why?
During COVID, it was hyped up to a bunch of newcomers with a bunch of money that this was the first ever Charizard printed.
This is the real
because it's-
rookie. Yuck.
Because it's 1995, and then it was found out that later it was printed in like 97 or something. So it's not a true rookie version card of
Yeah.
Charizard. So it sold for $500,000, and then it fell down to like 30 grand, and now it's back up to I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
it is.
no.
We'll find out where it
Rip
goes. from
Kai.
there.
All right.
I love
Grand
that.
Oh.
Party and E Lottie.
E.
Shout out
Lottie.
Ernie, shout out.
Shout
There you
out
go.
to
PSA 10
And
triple get campaign. Let's call
Very
it by
nice,
its
very
name.
nice.
That's
All
true.
sorts of other cool Japanese promos.
Yeah,
in
so there's a
10.
lot of really
Yeah.
interesting cards in this block. A lot of interesting sealed, and we'll
Some
recap some of the big sellers on a
stupid
future
bangers.
pod. A lot of cool sheets. There's a Chinese base sheet, which is
They're-
going to be really interesting. It looks like it has
Looks
a little bit
faded.
of sun damage, maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty low. The base
They
set
had it
Unlimiteds-
listed that it was like, I think, missing a layer or something. To me, it just looked like it was
That's
faded.
sun faded.
I don't know. I would assume
That-
they know
that
better
looks
than
sun
I
faded.
do. But when you're talking about a sheet and you're talking about its core value is display presence,
Yeah.
that to me hurts it. But then there's a base set uncut hollow sheet. That to me is interesting.
Okay, I know where this one came from actually.
Dang, wish you would have told me where it came from so we could have got it
Never-
before it
wait.
went on Heritage. That would have been
is this-
cool.
Okay, it is the same one. So this has a piece of tape on the right side here.
Okay, can you show
for
me
people.
where?
It's this whole piece. This right here.
Oh.
It's all the way down. So I saw this in person actually. It's a nice sheet. You know, there's 7 Charizards or whatever on it. You know, it's got some condition issues, but you put it in the frame and it'll look beautiful. You can
Yeah,
cover
as I
up this
say,
tape, whatever.
Tons of sheets have issues. This one's got a couple little creases in it. You'd never notice it looking at like you got like
Doesn't
look,
matter.
You know? Yeah, it matters to an extent,
Well,
right?
so,
Especially
you know, Ryan's Card House sold one through Fanatics at $250,000, which a lot of people question as well, but it was a completed sale. So, you know, this sheet was up for sale, publicly, privately, whatever you want to say, for a lot less than that. But we'll see what it ends up at.
Yeah,
so that's pretty
Machamp sheet, which we know of a private sale that just happened on one of those for like $10K. So
I just sold one for $10K.
Okay, calm down.
See how I did that? Look at that! Look at that!
I just sold
That's
one
the
of
only
these.
private sale we've actually been involved with. One of us,
yeah,
I can promise you of these. And then we've got the usual fossil sheets, and then rounding out the first day of auctions, one of the
The
coolest
fan
items-
favorite.
John pulled his off his wall for this. I'm not taking mine out of the kitchen. But I
Literally, it's in Squeaks'
this-
kitchen,
it
and
is
this
in my
is
kitchen.
and it goes off.
This
Yeah.
is a must-have for any like true Pokemon fan collector. It is so great to have for your
I'm not a
office.
true
Or
we'll
whatever.
try to
Sorry.
find a video of it and have Nate edit it into this pod of it playing.
I
It
can
is
play
one
it.
of the coolest items that has ever been made in Pokemon. John, we'll find him a high quality video. Come on. It
We're gonna play it.
John wants to play his, but it's
Let's
it's
change
such
the
a
time,
cool
Johnny
item.
boy.
It's when the Pokemon Center in New York, which only existed for a few years, like 3 years, 3 or 4, I think.
Sound on, come on.
It might have actually been 5. I don't know. But
Yeah,
anyways,
it
a few years, they sold these magical clocks for a short period of time. And this was back when like musical clocks were all of the rage. And, you know, my mom used to have one that played like Michael Jackson or something. I don't remember what it was. But anyways,
What? Wait. I wish I could
when-
unpack that, but let's keep
when
going.
when I saw this clock and how it spins on the hour, you can see John's messing with his to get it to spin, and it opens, and we'll get you a better video of it. But it plays like 5 different songs from the game, and it has like the Pokemon Center when you go into the Pokemon Center, like do.
Yeah.
Stupid banger, dude.
Okay.
Such a
Sorry.
great clock. Like it's just
It's a
truly
cool
like
thing.
the way it opens. It's got Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon on it. It's got like a Celebi, Charizard, and a Mew Pikachu inside. Absolutely gorgeous. These used to not be that expensive. I mean, relative for a clock, it's expensive, but they used to be like $1,000. I think the last one that sold on Heritage went for like $6,000 without a box. I don't know if this one has the box, but it's. I wouldn't be surprised to watch.
You don't need the
this
box.
one.
If you get it with the box, you
Yeah,
take it
if
out
you
of the
get
box.
it,
You put it on your wall.
Correct. Be a true hobbyist. Don't stash that thing as an investment piece. Hang it up on your wall. Enjoy it. Every hour that thing goes off, and it's got a little sensor so it won't go off in the middle of the night. Every hour that thing goes off and you hear that little tune, it will brighten your day.
It
I
does not
promise.
get old. It does not get old.
It does not get old. It is
Promise.
truly one of the coolest things in the hobby. So we've got that. A lot of these other cards are stuff that's going to go on day 2. It's a lot of similar things in the vein of what we saw in day 1, but it's a little lower tier. You know, that's just kind of how they split the auctions up. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff on this Heritage auction block. And so yeah, that's where we're at now. I want to take us now away from the auctions, because we kind of looked at the Kabuto auction. We looked at the things that ended on Goldin. We looked at where we're going, and it looks like maybe we're starting to enter this new era of trophy cards again, and maybe some of these higher end items. So I want to take us to one of our signature segments, which is centered or off-centered. And today I've brought 3 different ones for you guys that I want to ask you, centered or off-centered. And each one of these is going to kind of relate back to some of the topics that we've talked about today, in terms of just, new games exploding, auction prices exploding, card prices, things like that. So for anyone out there that doesn't know, centered or off-centered is a game that we play where I give them a one-sided take, and they will respond with me with whether that take is a centered take, meaning that they agree with it, or an off-center take, meaning that I am crazy. And then, depending on where we land, we'll discuss it. If everyone agrees, we'll just move on from it. And so, yeah, here we go. Centered or off-centered. One Piece, which we've talked about lately on the last few pods, has been absolutely explosive. One Piece will beat Pokemon to having the first public card sale over $1 million. So to give context, we've talked about that the Pikachu Illustrator, we know Logan Paul's went high, has a Guinness Book of World Records, was a private sale. The one Ken Goldin talked about was a private sale. The One Piece has a trophy card. Its first World Championship, the Luffy, that was earned in Japanese, sold for $1.6 million, rumored in a private sale. We know that the Magic One Ring did have the private/public sale of the Post Malone was like $2 million. So we've seen some big numbers in the hobby, but we have never seen in Pokemon or One Piece a $1 million public sale, like on an auction house or somebody on Facebook with a transaction or something like that. One Piece is going to beat Pokemon to it.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
OC. Everyone thinks it's OC.
We all agree.
I find that interesting. Mason, I want to throw it to you real quick. Just a quick summary. Why OC? Why do you think Pokemon's going to beat One Piece to it?
I just think One Piece is probably just too new. I don't know if it just doesn't have the history as far as, it would take a lot.
It would take a ton of whales and
I don't even know
a
what
super
it would
limited
be.
card.
I don't know what it would be. What would it be in One Piece?
So it's rumored that first trophy card sold for $1.6 million.
So is that card going to go up for auction before the PSA 10 Illustrator? That's the question, really.
No.
So I assume whoever bought that is a whale that's going to stock that thing back.
They're never selling.
Right? But it tells you the caliber of card, right? It's probably going to have to be a first place Worlds card from One Piece if it's going to do it. Or some kind of exclusive limited card, like if Oda came out and hand sketched a card for somebody and gave it to him as a gift or something, and that ended up on the market. I could see something like that. But we're talking crazy echelons. Whereas Pokemon, we could see that with a first Ed Charizard, which was a card you could pull out of a box, right? That level of disparity. And so I agree with you guys. I think it's an OC take. I think Pokemon's going to beat them to it. But it's definitely a timing thing. I think if that trophy card did hit the market and you had the two right people, One Piece could do it. But I think the odds are definitely in Pokemon's favor.
This could be the time to do it. This could be the time for
This would be, the way it's starting to feel, this would be the time to do it. So let me throw you guys another one now. And this one, we've talked a little bit previously about Riftbound, the League of Legends trading card game, which has come onto the scene hot. Cards are hard to get. Booster boxes are hard to get.
He's
Organized
such a...
play is running. Mason's talked about how it's very difficult for the store to get, but there's been a lot of interest. John wants to collect every card there is to it. Maybe he'll be
John's master setting.
Yeah, John will be the Riftbound King.
It's idiotic.
So the one I'm going to give you guys today, I want to give you a little context. This past week, there was a Riftbound regional qualifier that had an original event cap of 1024, but according to the website, looks like it had 1,347 players, which for organized play for games is quite a lot.
Can you fit that many people in your store, Mason?
No. I think that's 12 rounds of Swiss? Something like that?
I don't know how many rounds of Swiss they ran, but it was over 2 days, and I know they cut to top 64.
Yeah,
and so that's a big top cut. That's a top cut that you would expect at an Internats or something for Pokemon, or a Pro Tour for Magic. So a top 64 cut is a really deep cut. To give you context, when I used to play Pokemon at regionals, they would cut to top 16, maybe 32 if there was a big pool. And
I
so
was just checking how many people go to Pokemon regionals, and it's
Mason's take on Riftbound 2 episodes ago. Spot on. Yeah. And so my question to you is, centered or off-centered? Riftbound will have a 2,000 person or larger tournament in 2026. So next calendar year, they're going to almost double that event size. John, very quick on the answer here, but I'm going to give Mason and Thrifty time to answer it.
Yep.
I agree. I'm gonna just go with the boys here.
Thrifty
Dang, all right. they're all gonna go center. John, you were
Okay.
super quick on it. Super just no-brainer quick. So John, before you give us your reasoning, I want to give you context. From my understanding, and I don't have all the data throughout history, the only games that have
All
ever
the historical
had
data.
that
Yeah.
many people, Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, because overseas has an incredibly large following, and I don't have as much data on the overseas stuff. I looked up and couldn't find a Flesh and Blood event over 1,000. I believe their World Championships capped at 1024, and I don't know if it hit it. Lorcana, I know, had some pretty large ones at the start, but I don't believe they're as large now. And I know that Digimon gets some pretty large events, but I know that those were smaller than One Piece. From my understanding, I don't even believe One Piece has had a 2,000 person event yet. Maybe part of that's because of like size constraint issues. But I know that they have at least that many people that participate in their broader events at like Gen Con. So I could be wrong about the One Piece one. Don't crucify me out there if I am wrong about it. But from my understanding,
No, get
dude,
him.
go in the comments and tell me how wrong I am.
He's rarely wrong when he is.
We
go at him.
need
Make sure to let me know.
humble
Yeah, that's
this
fine.
man.
So we've only had 3 or 4 games historically that have really broken that number.
All right. Yeah.
And we're not even talking like a world championship or a nationals. We're talking
yeah. This is just So Mason, again, spot on with the player base. Like that point you made weeks ago, whichever episode that was in, spot on. I mean, I'm a big fan of again, I played League way too much in my life. I watched way too much League in my life on Twitch. You know, Skara was there doing stuff, hosting with, whatever content he was making. They had a bunch of the old-timey, like, big league people that I used to watch there playing and partaking, engaging with the game, with the IP, with hosting the thing. So they were just, like, genuinely
it felt
excited.
Like everybody was that. Like, if you played TCGs competitively, you were there.
And I think that's just the tip of the iceberg right now, because it's hitting the core hardcore fan base, and it hasn't really like started to bleed into those other old-timey league streamers, league players who I think very well will get invited to these things, and they'll get paid to go to these things, whatever it is. So I think there's so much room to grow, seeing the organic side of this getting there so fast. I am punching myself now that I opened up my entire allocation for myself. I enjoyed it, but the $300 a box now, crazy. I 100%. I think that I even underestimated where League might end up next year. I think we all did.
I will completely agree with that. I did not anticipate. I anticipated that its OPC would get large. I didn't think it would get this large this fast. I wanted to name drop a few people, right? Jeff Jones, one of the winningest Yu-Gi-Oh players of all time, great guy, playing in the event. I believe he played Lee Sin. I think he was on stream round 7 or something. Cool dude. You had mentioned Skara was there. I know Alex Logan was one of the best Battle Spirit Saga players in the world. Also was one of the best Naruto players in the world. Has played like tons of. I think him or his brother won a MetaZoo Tower. Like just one of the best TCG players historically in the world was there. I mean, you're seeing some of the best players from tons of games. I know a few of the big Lorcana players were there. I saw one of the memes this weekend was like. It was like one of the feature matches was like a Yu-Gi-Oh player against like a top Hearthstone player, I think, or something like that. And then the next match was like a top Lorcana player against a top Magic player or something. And it's like all of these top players from these other games are coming in to play Riftbound. And part of that common through line is League of Legends. The people enjoyed it. Part of the other common through line, big prizes, big money, big interest, big etc. Right? We saw this with Lorcana with the Mickeys. If the promos are valuable, people are going to play because they can make money even if they don't care about it. So now you've got like this just atom bomb of like value and people that like it, and it's bringing it together. And if you start having these top players from all these games come in, that's gonna tell everyone else this is the cool thing to do. You got to get into it. And how much of the play is being limited by people that couldn't even get the product yet? That are like they would have played, but they couldn't get enough cards to build their deck, so I'm not going to spend that much to travel to play. I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. I think it's a centered take. I think it's going to break 2,000. I wouldn't be surprised if they break a 5,000 person event. And that might sound crazy to people because we don't see events that big usually in North America. But in overseas, Yu-Gi-Oh events have had like 8,000 people before. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Riftbound just goes full stop, says let's get the biggest freaking venue we can, give the biggest prizes we can, that you wouldn't see just an in like a world record, maybe let's just say a North American record for tournament participation for a tournament next year, if they really just want to pedal to the metal, like just hit this thing as hard as they can, would not be surprised. I want to tell you guys, one of the cool things I saw they did this weekend is they gave away top of promos. So it's a medal card of your champion based on the one you played. So like if you played Garen and you were the top Garen player of all the Garen players in the room, you got a medal Garen leader, and it's legal for tournament play. And so that was a big draw for people to play as well, even if they weren't the
they're asking 3,000 on eBay right now for Yasuo, and it says 1 of 35. They're asking 2,400 or best offer for Victor. Wow.
Yeah, so there were some medal ones that you could get through like a prize wall or something like that, but then they had 1 of 1 versions that you got for being like the top player of your respective leader, even if you didn't make top cut. So like you could have got 500th, but if you were the best player of your leader, you got that medal card. That's my understanding, because I saw a lot of them popping up. People were like showing them like I was the top, Lux player and everything. And like people were starting to rally around that. Like you saw people like, oh, I play Lux, that's cool. Like thanks for playing, like good job, like that kind of thing. That was pretty neat. Stuff like that, I feel like, is just going to give them that much more momentum. It's really cool to see it in the space. We used to see L5R used to do stuff like that, top of clan promos, way back in the day. I know I'm dating here. Most people probably don't even know what L5R is.
Nobody knows other than you.
Nobody knows. Though.
Barely.
L5R was like the second longest running TCG. Then it died. They tried to reboot it with a Fantasy Flight, tried to reboot it, didn't take off. But they used to have clans, like Lion Clan, Crab Clan, whatever, and they used to give top-up promos. It was a cool thing. And it seems like League is like bringing that back. And I think Star Wars Unlimited might have done something similar, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, it's a cool thing. That's going to get more people interested. Go ahead.
I was looking through and seeing what kind of qualifier and premier events they were doing. They have all the way to 2029 mapped out already, as far as like rotation and stuff. So all the way to set 14. So they at least have that planned out at a competitive level. So pretty.
They know what they've got.
For sure.
These medal cards out of 35 supposedly are selling. 3 grand Yasuo, 3 grand Victor, 2 grand Yasuo. Wow.
That's awesome though.
Incredible.
That's really awesome. Yeah. Like I think that's super cool. The longer a TCG is around, the more likely it is to have staying power. Like, I think we can all agree on that. People get more confidence to buy in to build decks. They get more confidence to play in it. They get more confidence to collect it. More healthy TCGs existing than just Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a good thing for the industry, especially now where we're in modern day, where people collect all kinds of games at the same time. Whereas it used to be, people played one game and they collected one game, right? Now, it's not that way anymore. You look through somebody's binder, and they'll have cards from all kinds of games, because people just like having what they like now. I'm sure, Mason, you see that in your store more than anything now.
Oh, people trade in decks to buy a deck for another game, and then get done playing with that, and they'll trade in that deck to get some, the next game they want to play. Yeah, they do the rotations now.
Yeah, so this has me super excited. Just super excited for the future of the industry. There's been a lot of doom and gloom in Pokemon lately. Alt markets crashing. We're seeing this stuff come down. Eventually, the hobby's going to die. Everything's going to be over, whatever. I think the hobby is healthier than it's ever been. Truly. It's long-term trajectory. We're getting more of these games establishing roots. They're building into organized play. They're building the roots that you need to build for the player basis, so you can go through those ebbs and flows. And it's really, really exciting to see. And to see big IP like League, like One Piece, like Disney entering the sphere. What other IPs are we going to see? Magic's doing it with Universes Beyond. And I think it's just building it up for the future, to where if you're somebody that likes to collect, I think you're going to have tons of options moving forward. And I think those options for many of the games are going to get more affordable as things level out and stabilize. And if you like to play, you're going to have so many awesome options for play that I think it's really, really exciting. And I think the future of TCGs is really exciting. And with that, we're going to give you guys one more. And I think I already know the answer, because we talked about it a little bit in our other, but I thought it was a nice way to round us out and kind of bring this picture, full picture around. So, centered or off-centered? if you're a store or a vendor, flipper, backpacker, whatever you want to call it, if you're grading to make money, grading with any other company other than PSA at this point is selling yourself short, centered or off-centered.
Yep. OC.
OC on all of them. All right. So when we just talked, you guys pretty much universally said on just about every card should regrade with PSA before the auction. It should regrade with PSA for value. Yet there, I essentially made that take that you should grade all your cards with PSA for value, and you hit me with off-center. Now I'm sure we're going to get a bunch of but this caveat or that caveat or whatever, but the general overtone is you should grade with PSA to make your money. Thrifty, I'm going to throw this one to you. Why is that an OC take?
Listen, PSA may have premiums, but there are premiums to be had on from other grading companies. You have to check. There's weird little things you can find that make grading with CGC or Beckett or that's pretty much it. Just grade with CGC or Beckett. Don't grade with anybody else. It's actually asinine. Like, don't do that. But like you can find like my favorite, I'm going to go with like an example that I love. It's my Unagabas. The Unagabas, if you grade them with CGC and you pristine them, the price per card is higher than a PSA 10. And then, so it's like, why would I send my Unagabas to PSA, wait 4 months when I could send it to CGC, wait a month and a half, and then it's out the door. You know what I mean?
And a 10, that CGC 10's more than a PSA 9, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if I get cooked, then I can get it back quicker, sell it quicker, and for a similar-ish price. And worst case scenario, like I still know buyers that are willing to buy me out on my CGC, which not everybody has that option, but like you can find them.
Paying half the price too to get it.
Exactly. It literally is half the price, half the turnaround time. What are we talking about? Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Mason, you OC'd it. What are your thoughts? Do you align with what Thrifty said, or was there another reason there that you think?
No, I mean largely the same thought is that particularly with CGC and PSA, there's a reason to go with one over the other. I mean, they have their utility, especially, and we saw this previously with the last PSA slowdown, that there's money to be made if you're just able to put it in plastic. Doesn't matter what the name of the company is, you can make money.
The acronym doesn't matter. Just get the card in plastic.
That is true. Like, there's people in Australia that grade with some of the Australian grading companies. Same with the UK.
Listen,
like
I'm not naming any names.
For them, it's viable. And so, because at the end of the day, some people just want it in a slab, and they don't care where it's from. And, when you're starting to think about having to send it overseas and tariffs and import charges and customs and all this other stuff, and your package getting opened and lost, and then the turnaround times, those other options maybe become a little more appealing, which I think
like if capital or like cash flow is a problem, like you can't just like let stuff sit for 5 months. Like I don't have that time. I need it back in a month and a half so I can keep this train rolling.
So,
okay.
And the prices shift so dramatically.
I'm going to give you guys
look at the Burger Chew, right?
Just,
if you're look at the Burger Chew. If you're not grading that stuff quick enough, you're going to lose value. So there's
that's a great example. How many Burger Chews are still in bulk submissions?
There's 100K of them already, and there's still probably another 3x that in bulk right now, bro.
There's a lot of people that I'm hearing rumblings of that had submitted them at faster tiers, but maybe not the fastest tier,
and still are getting
gotten them back. And now, I mean, you're talking they're gonna lose grading fee. They're gonna lose, and I know there's people out there right now. Yeah, down with the scalpers.
You owe me a scorecard.
I don't know if we've agreed to as a swear.
John just wants me to load the binder up, but no. The reality is though, those they're.
If you're a perfect grader, which you can't be because the graders who grade are not perfect, but if you're a perfect grader, you're going to send the best of the best to Beckett to get that black label. You're going to send the next best to get that pristine 10 at CGC, and then you're going to send the next best to PSA for that 10. In most cases,
and it's interesting. You mentioned the Black Label, which we hadn't even brought up.
I won't even bother with it, honestly. It's
I try all the time.
I'm
Never
good.
got one.
Like, I don't
and
care.
I've had some subs that have went really well. I sent a One Piece sub one time that got I think it was 7 out of 19 Black Labels, right? It was crazy. It was one of my earlier ones. And then I had another one that I sent a bunch of cards, 100 cards, straight out of the little cellophane things, super clean. Not a 1.
It's random.
Not a 1. In fact, even the
completely
pristine 10 rate was pretty rough.
Listen, it's okay.
And it happens, right? Sometimes you have a bad sub, you low roll, whatever. But that's a great example of John.
They've got allocated Black Labels they can give out per week, per month.
No, John. Here we go.
Listen, I know a guy that's Black Label gang that can hook you up. Is all I'm saying.
That's
the other thing.
That's
it. There's so much.
Yeah, there's so many tinfoil hat theories. I don't buy into any of that stuff.
I grade with all three. I always have. I always will. Depends on the timing, the card, the era. There's so many factors, but I will always grade. I hate and love all three grading companies equally.
They all have their use cases is the thing. It's not like this or that. It's like if you're doing business, you can't just
not.
There are businesses, there are vendors, there are booth sellers.
Listen, I work for someone that hates
company.
Beckett. He will not grade with Beckett. He will not buy Beckett.
Look.
He'll buy these dumb grading companies, and he's like, I don't want Beckett. I'm like, you're buying AGS slabs, my guy. What are we talking about here? Like, what?
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? It's one of those things where we can look at an auction and look at all these cards and say, yep, should a PSA slab that? But at the same time, there's a lot of factors that go into it, right? And a good example of this, what we just talked about, we said that CGC Charizard in a 10 should have put it through PSA.
You should try it through all of them and see what happens. Like,
you have a long turnaround time. You've got up charges. And if you believe your window of opportunity of selling this card is going to be a short window because this market's not going to last, you might not have time to wait to grade that card through.
It's 3 days, no matter what you would have to walk it through PSA. Like either way, you're getting it back in under 3 days, probably.
Is a walkthrough still 3 days?
It's like $600. You get it same day, I think.
Yeah. They still do. They do that. Yeah,
they do that if you know a guy.
They'll do that for anybody. Yeah.
If you know a guy, you both. Like Mason, how did we turn into the conspiracy? These two are conspiracy.
If you know a guy, I was gonna call myself. I know a guy.
If you fly to PSA on Wednesdays where they take walk-in submissions, and
there you go. You don't have to know a guy. You have to know the rules. That's
You can also know a guy, but
you can know a guy.
Radar and Thrifty over here always trying to sound like they. We got the secret sauce, everybody. Like
we do.
You two,
come on.
If I knew the secret sauce, I wouldn't be here. I would be.
You can catch these two on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays selling Rolexes on Fifth Avenue in New York City.
The Diamond District tap.
Yeah, and they know a guy. That's where they get these great deals. You're buying these $300 Rolexes because they get them for a great deal because they know a guy. Yeah. Classic. Exactly. Classic. Mason, what are we gonna do with them?
Make them fall off the truck too. I don't know.
Push them off the truck.
Yeah. We gotta figure out how to get rid of their tinfoil hats before they end up getting us tinfoil.
I actually have a tinfoil hat.
He's got the
I'm the
tinfoil
only
fedora.
one that actually has one.
Yeah,
Mason's the leader.
Yeah, he's the leader of this army.
You know what it reminds me of? The movie Signs, where they wear the tinfoil for the thing. Like if all of you guys had them on, I will not wear a tinfoil hat. Yep. Will not wear a tinfoil hat. All right. Well, this has been the Off Center Podcast, and we are so thankful that you joined us today to talk all things auction, Kabuto King, Goldin 100, Heritage Auctions, everything new and coming in the future. And we hope you had a great time with our Off Center takes. With that, this has been Squeaks, Thrifty, Mason, and Radar, and we will see you all next time.
Bye.